Today at 4 on WESH 2 News, we are tracking a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for northern Marion County as a line of storms moves into central Florida. We'll time it out neighborhood by neighborhood at 4. Happening now, tracking severe weather moving in parts of central Florida. Brand new severe thunderstorm warning just issued for Marion County until 4:45. We'll have the latest.
Also, a local community concerned for their safety. We have new reaction from residents after an elderly couple was killed at random.
And tenants suddenly turned into prisoners. New details on a landlord accused of locking them in a garage and refusing to let them go.
And signs of improvement. The latest on the condition of DeMar Hamlin after he collapsed on the field during a football game.
Local, live, late-breaking. WESH 2 News starts now.
And first on WESH 2 News at 4, you may notice something different. Let me give a big welcome to WESH 2's newest member, Nancy Alvarez.
Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it. I already did an hour today, so I'm a veteran here at WESH 2 News.
You are. You're already buckled in it. The good thing is you've done more than a decade in Central Florida, so you're already buckled into the news.
Yeah, 20 years. But we don't have to age me on TV. We don't have to talk. We don't have to go into that. But yeah, just over 20 years here in our market, and I'm so excited to be here with the team at WESH 2 News. And of course, we have several big stories to get to. I'm not the big story of the day. I am not.
We will talk more about you and what you've been doing the last year. But right now, we need to talk about those storms.
Yes.
So we have a tornado watch in effect for 2 of our northern counties and a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. So let's get right over and see what's doing right now. Here's a look. In red, Marion County, Flagler County, tornado watch in effect for the next 2 hours' time. Essentially, the line of storms in North Florida holding together just a little bit more than we had thought, drifting a little further to the south. So because of that, Storm Prediction Center issued that, meaning we have to watch our northern communities for the potential of some stronger storms. It's all along this line of stormy weather marching in. Here's a look at it on our first warning live Doppler radar. And particularly, it's this cluster moving through Alachua County that's extending just a little further to the south into Marion County, all right? There's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 4:45 for northern Marion County. If you live in Reddick, Citra, Anthony, Fellowship, you're up next to see these storms as they extend off toward the east-southeast. So Citra 412, Ocala Ridge by 420, Ocala itself by about 430, and Forest High School by about 442, and then eventually continuing to work over toward Flagler County. But here's a wider look at the radar. That's the strongest storm action that we have into the Gulf of Mexico. There's some thunderstorms there, but that should continue to weaken as it moves in. Speaking of weakening, we've got a couple of weakened showers popping up over Lake County, and even a little bit of rain moving right through downtown Orlando at this hour. So we're going to update our Futurecast model and time out the rains in your neighborhood when I see it coming up in just a couple minutes.
Eric, thank you. A couple in their 80s killed in a random act, horrifying and tragic.
Yeah, now a person of interest is in custody out of state. WESH 2's Dave McDaniel is live now at the senior community in Mount Dora with the latest on the capture and a look at whether people feel safe in that area.
Well, Nancy, as you go in the entrance here, there is a gate, there's a security building, and there's very visible fencing out front. But Mount Dora police say that over the weekend, a woman they believe was just passing through the area accessed this property several times over the weekend, and now they suggest she is a person of interest in a double murder. Reporting live in Mount Dora, Dave McDaniel, WESH 2 News.
An early morning robbery at a gun shop in Melbourne leaves some neighbors worried about what was taken. Yeah,
police and ATF are investigating and looking for the suspect who smashed cases to grab the guns. WESH 2's Brevard Bureau Chief Scott Heidler is live for us now at the scene on North Wickham Road. So, Scott, what's the latest out there?
Well, since this morning, ATF have been inside the Sicarius gun shop investigating this incident. We spoke with one worker who says he's been helping them as they go through the inventory. Reporting live in Melbourne, Scott Heidler, WESH 2 News.
All right, Scott. Well, this next video may be hard to watch for some people. Police in Castleberry are looking for the person who stole a woman's purse, causing her to fall to the ground. This happened back on Friday, but police just released this video. Take a look at the left side of the screen. It shows a woman walking in the parking lot of a business along Hollow Branch Drive. That's when a man runs by and tries to snatch her purse. He doesn't get it the first time, but he gets it the second time, which causes the woman to fall face first to the ground. The woman was not seriously hurt.
Police released these pictures, which shows the person they believe is responsible. Take a good look. If you recognize him, be sure to call police. The trial of a man accused of murdering one of his daughters and trying to kill the other is getting pushed back. Longwood police arrested Juan Bravo Torres in July. They say that he stabbed his 3-year-old daughter to death at their home on Highland Street and then slashed his 12-year-old daughter's throat while she was sleeping. That child survived and played dead until investigators say Bravo Torres attempted suicide. She then walked for help to a nearby McDonald's where her mother was working. Torres' trial was originally set for later on this month, but today the judge granted him a delay in the case while the attorneys try and build their defense. Prosecutors are looking to give him the death penalty.
An Orange City man is accused of locking 3 tenants inside the garage apartment they live in and threatening to shoot them if they came out. 66-year-old Lawrence Cohen is charged with 3 counts of false imprisonment and, in addition to that, resisting arrest. WESH 2's Claire Metz reports deputies say they had to use a taser on Cohen after breaking down the door to get in. Right now, a 24-year-old Buffalo Bills player Damar Hamlin continues to fight for his life after collapsing on the football field Monday night.
WESH 2's Kendra Douglas joins us now in studio with the latest on his condition. And Kendra, the team just released an update.
Yeah, guys, the Buffalo Bills continue to keep us posted with the status of Damar through social media.
Kendra, thank you. Still ahead on WESH 2 News at 4. It's been more than a month since an Orlando warehouse went up in flames, killing several people.
Yeah, now the family of the lone survivor is sharing her story.
Lindsay means everything to me. She's more than just my baby sister. She is my everything.
What her loved ones say about the battle she's still facing.
Also ahead, COVID and flu cases are rising, and the spread could get worse as kids go back to school. The measures some districts are taking and the concerns from local health experts.
And a new local bar is not serving a drop of alcohol. How they're cashing in on dry January. That story next at 4.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Precision Door Service.
I have been a journalist here in Central Florida for more than 20 years. Whether it's breaking news or the stories that empower us, everyone has a story to tell. And that's why it's so important for us to be out there and to really understand the issues that are rising up in our communities. I'm so excited to be here at WESH 2 News to tell the stories of Central Florida, your stories. We're here for you every step of the way. I'm Nancy Alvarez. Join me on WESH 2 News.
New on WESH 2, there's a new unique bar here in Central Florida serving all of your favorite drinks. But get this, all the cocktails are alcohol-free.
Okay, the owner of the Bandbox Orlando spoke to WESH 2's Christina Watkins about the concept and why it's perfect if you're cutting back on alcoholic drinks for dry January.
And drinks at the Bandbox Orlando cost between $8 to $10 a cocktail, and you have to make a reservation first. We have the information plus more on dry January posted online at WESH.com.
Fun story there. Cheers to that.
Yes.
All right, we want to turn things over now to meteorologist Eric Burris, tracking some severe weather in some parts.
Eric, who's seeing the worst of it right now?
Right now, Marion County is, and it's kind of interesting. The same cold front we've been watching holding together just a little bit longer than expected, and because of that, Storm Prediction Center added Marion and Flagler counties to this tornado watch, which goes until 6 p.m. Think of it like this. A tornado watch means we're watching for the potential, the atmosphere ripe enough, so watch out with these storms these next couple of hours' time. Here's a look. In addition to that tornado watch, there is a severe thunderstorm warning here for northern Marion County. Citra, Anthony, Reddick, back over to Salt Springs. Winds in this cell indicated up to about 60 miles per hour on Doppler radar. About 21, almost 22,000 people under this warning, and it goes until 4:45. Here's a look at it. That line working over toward Putnam County and then eventually working over toward Flagler County. Let's track this as it moves at a pretty quick 35-40 mile per hour clip. So Ocala 435 into Lecanto by about 448, Salt Springs 454, Rutland 515, the Villages by 524, and Astor by 537. The line extends all the way out into the Gulf of Mexico, and this area here is something we've been monitoring in the Weather Center because it seems like it's really holding its own. Now, models still say as it approaches the west coast it will weaken, but it's definitely something that we need to watch closely. closely because as that line works in our direction, we're also kind of popcorning up some additional showers already. So when it comes to the threat for severe weather, our western sections are highlighted in green, meaning a level 1 out of 5 risk for strong to severe storms, isolated in nature, 1 or 2 nastier cells. And this is a look at one of our traffic cameras. This is along I-75 in Marion County, showing that story, a soggy drive for those folks. Upper to mid 60s for tomorrow. There's more shower activity around. Take a look. Morning showers at about 30%. Could even get a couple of midday storms and then tapering off and clearing through the day. Take a look at Futurecast. 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Some rains working over from I-75, the Turnpike into the Metro. A few lingering showers tomorrow midday and then clearing out little bit by little bit. And then that's it. Looking ahead to Friday, it's sunshine and cooler temperatures. A high of 70. Morning low Saturday morning in the 40s. We'll be back into the lower 70s for Saturday afternoon, staying gorgeous all the way through next week. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
At the top of the hour, we welcome Nancy officially to the WESH 2 family, and we wanted to once again say hello.
I appreciate it so much. Wasn't official until I got next to you. So now it's
now
official.
You got a full day in.
Now it is. I got a full day. I really cannot tell you guys how much I appreciate the support I have received just as I make this big transition and decision to return to TV. But at the end of the day, this is not about me. My new producers, who are now my new friends, and I put together a little something to show you who this is really about. So I've been a journalist here for over 20 years, but I spent the last year working with our nonprofit community and the people tackling some of our biggest challenges in our community. So this move is from my friends at Heart of Florida United Way, who welcomed me 1 year ago and taught me so much. My friends Kimberly Beckler and Dwight Bain and others who I've met who are on the front lines of the mental health epidemic in our community. It's real, and there is so much work being done. My friends at Junior Achievement, who are educating the workforce of tomorrow in incredible ways. Central Florida Urban League, Pay Center for Girls, the Foundation for Orange County Public Schools, and New Image Youth Center, who are all shaping our next generation. My friend Maruchi Guzman and her team, who run Latino Leadership, an organization that works to ensure families just arriving in our community don't fall through the cracks. My friends at the Russell Home, who wrote the book on how to care for special needs families. My friend George at the Center, and my friends at One Pulse, who still help people shattered by pulse. Still. And for many people, always. My friend Mary Downey and her team at the Hope Partnership in Osceola County, who are tackling our housing crisis every single day, one family at a time. My beloved sister Ann, Felipe, and the team at the Hope Community Center in Apopka, who ensure our immigrant population and the working poor have a fair shot and a voice. My friends at Ebony Nutrition, who are saving lives by transforming how people in underserved communities eat. My friends at Libby's Legacy Breast Cancer Foundation, who shine a light during a woman's darkest time. And my friends at Base Camp, who've shined it for years for children battling cancer. There's Seniors First and Osceola Council on Aging, who serve our older population with love and respect. My friends at the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Prospera, who champion our fastest growing population. This year, I reconnected, I listened, and I learned a lot. And the friends I listed here and many more are truly changing and saving lives every single day here in Central Florida. So I am not going back to TV. We are all going together. And I appreciate having this WESH 2 News and the team here for giving all of us a new home.
There's so many great organizations that you listed there, and there's so many more. And I want to mention one more, and this is a picture of us two, I think about 8 years ago, for OCA Winter Park's Bowl-a-thon. It helps children with disabilities. Just one of the times that we've crisscrossed paths out helping out people in our community.
And who knew then, right?
Who knew
that
then?
We'd be together. We haven't aged a bit. So we look exactly the same.
Not at all. All right, Nancy, thanks so much. So glad to have you here with the WESH 2 team.
Thank you. All right, ahead at 4, remembering a space pioneer.
Walter Cunningham paved the way for men to step foot on the moon. How his legacy is being remembered. Plus,
It's been over a month since a deadly fire erupted at this warehouse where fireworks were stored. I'm Marlene Martinez. Coming up, we talk with the family of the sole survivor.
WESH 2 traffic is driven by Toyota Orlando and Toyota Claremont.
WESH 2 News continues.
Right now, we are tracking severe weather in parts of Central Florida.
A watch and warning are in effect. Let's go straight over to First Warning Meteorologist Eric Burris, who's tracking it all.
All right, so let's just sort this all out. We've got a tornado watch posted for Marion County and Flagler County until 6 o'clock tonight because the atmosphere has set up just enough that we could get an isolated tornado. But in addition to that, we have for northeastern Marion County a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 4:45. This line of storms is potent. It put out 70-mile-per-hour winds earlier. As it continues to gradually work off toward the east, it's continuing to rock and roll. You can see Palatka there in Putnam County seeing this severe thunderstorm. I'll be curious to see the winds up that direction. But next up will be places like Flagler County, Palm Coast, Shell Bluff, and Flagler Beach. So let's put a track on that as it works over toward Palm Coast at about 5:20. It gets over toward Palatka by 4:34 and Marineland by 5:12. It extends all the way out into the Gulf of Mexico, and while the modeling says this should be weakening as it gets here, it's definitely something we are going to be watching on our live radar. A couple of downpours already developing over West Orange into Lake counties. This is lifting up towards Sorrento, Apopka, and then even over here toward like Oviedo, Winter Springs area, watching a little shower there. So there's already some rains in our area. We will update Futurecast and get you through tonight and tomorrow and to the weekend in a couple minutes.
It's been over a month since a deadly fire erupted at a warehouse in Orange County where fireworks were stored. 5 people rushed to the hospital. 4 of them died.
Just horrific. Today, WESH 2's Marlene Martinez checked in with the family of the sole surviving victim, and she tells us the latest on the investigation. Interesting.
We didn't have it when we were growing up.
No, we did not.
And we still made it to this age.
We did, somehow. Thank goodness we didn't have it when we were growing up. All right, this afternoon, people around the world are remembering a man who played a pivotal role in getting to the moon.
The last surviving member of the first Apollo mission to successfully launch astronauts into orbit died yesterday at the age of 90. WESH 2's Jim Payne is here with a look at his legacy and contributions.
Throughout 2022, we watched as Artemis 1 launched NASA's bid to put people back on the moon. But that mission never would have been possible without Apollo 7 and Walter Cunningham. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson says NASA will always remember his contributions to our nation's space program and sends our condolences to the Cunningham family. Buzz Aldrin, the second man to set foot on the moon, said, "I've lost a good friend with Walt Cunningham passing. America and Apollo 11 wouldn't have gotten to the moon without Walt's courage and Apollo 7. Their mission made possible every other Apollo mission. He is the definition of an American hero, a man of enormous heart." Cunningham was selected as an astronaut in 1963 and part of NASA's 3rd astronaut class. Before launching on Apollo 7, was also on the prime crew for Apollo 2 and the backup lunar module for Apollo 1. He was then designated as the lunar module pilot for Apollo 7. Cunningham recently reflected on the impact of the Apollo program at a 50-year celebration for the first moon landing.
500 years from now, there's only going to be one thing that they remember about Apollo, and that's the man landed on the moon. That'll be it. And people have no idea how hard it was, for example, to get the first Apollo mission off.
Cunningham was also known for being a skilled fighter pilot, a physicist, and an entrepreneur. And a fun fact here, the Apollo 7 crew orbited Earth for 11 days, much of it broadcast on live TV to huge ratings, winning the crew an Emmy. Back to you, Stuart and Nancy.
That's a good fact, Jim. Thanks so much. Still to come on WESH News at 4, a rare sight what Florida and the European Alps have in common right now.
And how Jeremy Renner is doing after that awful snowplow accident. Plus, growing concerns of rising COVID and flu cases as children return to school, what some districts are doing now to stop the spread.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Rubenstein Law. Injured? Call 1-800-FL-LEGAL.
A new ruling from the FDA will allow pharmacies to offer abortion pills. The decision permanently drops a requirement to get the pill in person from a healthcare provider. Now, that requirement had already been temporarily removed because of COVID. There are mounting concerns over rising COVID and flu cases as kids go back to school after the holiday break.
This comes as people have been gathering and traveling, and as NBC's Dasha Burns reports, some schools are returning to masking to prevent spreading any illness.
Actor Jeremy Renner released an update on his condition from his hospital bed after he was run over by his own snowplow. He posted this selfie to social media yesterday with the caption, "I'm too messed up now to type, but I send love to you all." Look at that picture. Investigators say he was run over by his snowplow Sunday morning while moving snow near his home in Reno, Nevada. The plow weighs more than 14,000 pounds. The sheriff whose department is investigating the case says Renner is an honorary deputy sheriff and says he has had a profound impact on the kids in the area. Renner's spokesman
He's one of those individuals that I can tell you most of the time you don't know that he's doing it, but he has made a tremendous impact on this community.
Renner's spokesman says the actor had surgery on Sunday and that he is in critical but stable condition and is in the ICU.
He was dealing with mountains of snow when he was experiencing that. Us here in Central Florida, we've been in the 80s.
Very warm out there.
And that's helping to fuel these showers and thunder showers that we're tracking. For now, no severe thunderstorm warnings, okay? That went at 4:45, but we still have for our northernmost areas a tornado watch until 6 o'clock, meaning we're watching. The atmosphere is just active enough. We could get something a little feisty. So let's take a look and see what the Doppler radar network looks like at this point. Let me start in the metro because we've had a few feisty cells develop out over Lake Apopka, lifting through Sorrento and Zellwood. It's going to continue to work in northern Lake County and eventually into West Volusia. So Sorrento, basically right now the rains are picking up DeBerry by 5:02 and Deltona by about 5:13. Then we come up here to Ocala, Citra, Anthony, and Reddick, where our live Doppler radar tracking downpour action. Take a look. This is the scene now. Just moments ago, though, it was driving rains through Ocala. A couple of people walking around. They were not doing that, trust me, just a few minutes ago. That storm system complex is working off toward the east. So Flagler County, eventually Volusia County heads up. Some pretty decent lightning strikes around Palatka. That'll work over toward Marineland, Palm Coast, and Flagler Beach. We track this moving that direction over toward Palm Coast 5:24, Beverly Beach by 5:34, and Flagler Beach by 5:38. All right, wider perspective shows this line continuing into the Gulf of Mexico. The good news for us is that it appears that by the time this line moves in, it should start to weaken. We've already started to see that progression, but we need to get the sun down. It's plenty warm, and this heat is providing lift, which is helping the thunderstorm activity kind of hold its own a little bit. So here's a look. Cold front out ahead of that cold front. We call this the prefrontal trough, or just thunderstorms out ahead of the front. Happens all the time during the winter months. So these next few hours we'll be tracking showers and thunder showers, but little by little it turns to just showers and then damp, some light shower activity. Here's Futurecast, okay? 6 o'clock, watching those storms marching on through, and then little by little, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, it's just some light rains around, okay? I think for tonight, it'll be showers and nothing all that ominous. For tomorrow, showers in the morning, but notice lunchtime through the early afternoon, with the darker skies moving in, with that heat building, we do have the potential to see a few thunderstorms for tomorrow, okay? Mid part of the day, all associated with this cold front, but after it's done, cooler, drier air pours into Central Florida, and not just for your Friday, your Saturday and your Sunday looking fantastic with cool, dry air in the forecast. So let's put it together, shall we? Central Florida's certified most accurate 7-day forecast. For the next hour and a half, tornado watch in effect for Marion and Flagler counties. We're going to be watching that radar. Overnight tonight into tomorrow, showers around, about a 40-50% coverage. And then Friday, oh, it turns gorgeous. High temperature of 70 degrees. Morning low on Saturday, 48 in the city. Our northern spots, lower 40s for temperatures. Then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, the beautiful weather continues. Tony Manolfi's in just a couple of minutes. He's got an update on the radar. Stay with us.
This first warning weather update is sponsored by the PENDAS law firm.
The European Alps are starting to look a little like Florida. Because of the lack of snow, unseasonably warm temperatures have led to a snow shortage at some ski stations. This video showing slopes in Austria are surrounded by snow-free green meadows. In France, a lack of snow has now forced some ski stations to shut down entirely until they get some more snowfall.
Wow.
A spectacular sight captured by telescope.
Yeah, this is cool. Astronomers are getting a glimpse of a stellar nursery in a new light. The Vista telescope in Chile captured new images of the Serpens constellation using infrared light, which can pierce through thick dust clouds and reveal previously unseen details. The new images reveal a bunch of stars behind the orange glow of the nebula. The infrared imagery is helping astronomers learn more about how stars form.
Between these pictures and the ones we're seeing from the Webb telescope,
So cool.
It's like all the things that we dreamed of, we're now starting to see, and it's amazing, truly.
All fun and games until we see somebody out there.
Yes, it is.
All right. WESH 2 News at 5 is straight ahead.
Be laughing. Michelle Imparato joins us now. It's coming up in our next hour. Michelle.
Guys, we are continuing to follow a developing story out of Castleberry tonight. A 76-year-old woman was robbed, and police need your help. The pictures and video they want you to see to help them find their thief. And the mastermind behind the Varsity Blues college admission scandal was sentenced today. How long Rick Singer will spend in prison. Plus, a stinky situation in South Florida. What is causing the terrible odor and how residents are dealing with it? Next at 5.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Safe Touch Security.